Chris Dale, what on earth's coming up?
We have got the first part of an interview with Space Precinct production coordinator Sharon Mansfield.
Oh, we'll be celebrating a special birthday.
Oh, and we'll be hearing from our Podsterons and watching a random episode of a random series in the Randomiser.
The Gerry Anderson Podcast with Jamie Anderson, Richard James and Chris Dale.
Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Hello,
everybody.
Chris. Hello,
Are you
Jamie.
sitting comfortably?
Hello. How are we?
Good.
All good?
Jolly good.
Yes, yeah.
Shall we go straight into birthday wishes?
Yes, it's a big day for somebody.
Well, it's a big day for somebody, and it's very soon to be a big day for somebody else.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so today, the day of release, is Mummy A's birthday.
Oh.
So happy birthday, Mummy A.
Perhaps we could celebrate by going back to listen to her 3-part interview on the Gerry Anderson podcast. Do you
Yes.
remember the numbers? Or
Of course not.
just
No,
Google
but
it.
you could do
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
And then cut in a clip of her having cake downstairs.
Oh yeah, that's fine. We don't actually have to celebrate anyway because we can just
We
cut
just
in old
use old
footage.
clips.
Was she with us when we had dinner with Gary Barlow and Jason Donovan?
No.
Oh, right.
No,
We
she
had
was
dinner
absent.
with Gary Barlow and Jason
Well,
Donovan.
it's the royal we. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And
It was
also,
just me and Ross down the McDonald's.
yeah, as usual,
good man.
standard. But in 2 days' time,
Yes, that's right.
it's Richard
my
James's birthday.
It is, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So happy birthday, Richard James.
thanks.
Happy birthday.
We haven't got you anything, but
Oh.
Well, you can, I
Okay,
can sign this for you.
No, thank you.
your birthday gift is you don't have to have a copy of the
get you
Titanic
a
Construction.
I tell you what, it's a good enough gift for me that people have been commenting beneath our YouTube videos. So
yes.
recently, you might remember we had Jack Claff sitting in that
In
very
this chair, Jack Claff,
yeah,
yes.
off of Space 1999, Star
Indeed.
Wars,
Star
Red
Wars,
Dwarf,
Bond,
all
yes,
kinds of
yes.
stuff. Well, Happy New Year, guys, says Gaz. This is Gary Hodgkinson, I know, saying it's funny with Four Feather Falls that we watched in Pod 342. I can't help but remember the live reading of Dusty's Day at the Space Centre in 2023. Well worth looking that pod up. It
Happy
was fun
days.
seeing a live performance.
A
think-
feature-length episode
I
of
think
Four
it
for the
is
Falls.
its own video on YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's right.
yes.
And there's the wonderful mug
Yes.
that Penn Quiller made for us
Yeah.
to
And
celebrate
recently,
Dusty's Day.
the script for that episode went up on eBay.
Did it?
It did, yes.
Oh,
I
the
don't know
actual
if-
script.
Yeah, I don't know if it's sold, but it was
Ah.
certainly up there with. Yes.
Quick one for you there,
A
Chris.
quick one for me, yes. This is from Noisy Wayne,
Oh, yeah.
Jack Claff,
Yes.
wonderful actor,
Yes.
and a marvellous man.
That's true enough.
Yeah.
That's absolutely
Yeah,
true.
very interesting,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. Quick one for you, Jamie.
Oh, yes. I know what it says because I just looked.
Is that
It
quick?
says, a fascinating interview. Thank you, Richard, and Happy New Year. From Simon Frisbee.
That's Simon Frisbee. Exactly. There you go. Well, we do it for you. That's the only reason we're here for our
Yes.
Podsterons. Isn't it?
Do we do it for ourselves a little
Come
bit?
here otherwise.
I mean, I
Are you kidding?
enjoy the interviews.
Yeah, not the rest.
Yeah.
Quite nice seeing you once a month, I
Yeah,
suppose.
you get a free
Nice
drink.
save.
Yeah, get a cup of coffee and have a nice lunch, don't we, Ross?
Yeah. Ross is thrilled.
Gary Barlow.
Not,
Jason
not
Donovan.
today, no.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's any Gerry Anderson news. Look, it's the Gerry Anderson news.
Busy news. Good, good. Yes.
Wow.
What have you got for what have you got for us this month, Jack?
Conveyor belt.
I'd never noticed your Forsythian
Tendencies.
thingies before.
Yeah.
No, amazing. Oh, she really put me off there.
Sorry.
The Anderson retro action figures.
Oh yes.
Now, we've managed to secure a small number of complete collector's sets.
Right.
That have little collector's plinths with them.
I love them.
They were never made available to us when we originally did the deal with Big Chief way back when.
Gosh.
And so
I see.
everybody was able to order individual items for all 6 figures.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we've managed to secure a small number of the collector's edition. So if you want that instead, then you can grab that now from gerryanderson.com.
Sorry.
Nice.
So you now get a figure and a plinth.
Yes.
I see.
Or the figures.
The full
the
set.
full set.
Oh,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
see. Gosh,
It's a limited
great.
edition thing which we weren't previously able to get, but we
Brilliant.
managed
Yeah.
to get a small
Oh, how
number.
lovely.
So
Right. I mean, do you think people might have bought already individual ones and now they might
they may
want
have
the whole-
done.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry if that's the case
Oh,
and you
hey.
wanted the collector's set. It's just the way
Yeah.
it's gone. And we
Yeah.
we couldn't have
No,
planned for that.
couldn't foresee
But,
that. No.
Can I ask about the figures?
Yes.
There were originally projections for a Wave 2 and a Wave 3.
Don't know if that's going to happen.
No,
Literally
it's,
no
it's
idea.
still possible, not
It's
likely.
possible. It's possible. We've
It's
not
up in
heard
the air.
anything.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's all with master replicas. So it's up to them whether they
Because
go
those
ahead
molds
with it.
obviously exist, and
I don't. I think the
such.
prototypes existed. I'm not sure any
Prototypes.
tooling existed.
Ah.
But yeah,
Right.
we shall see.
Yes.
yeah. Wouldn't that be nice if that did?
Yeah.
Great. too bad.
Now, did you manage to solve any codes on GerryAnderson.com in our
yes,
relaunch
They were
era?
too difficult for me.
Too tricky?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
well, if you did,
But I am an
congratulations. Well, didn't want to say.
So-
I'm afraid he almost killed Chris there. He didn't disagree, though.
No.
Yes, I'm afraid if you did manage to solve them, it doesn't mean you get some easy access to become a MI6 agent or anything like
No,
that. But
no.
well done for being very clever.
Yeah. Well done you.
Now, I think in the next 7 days,
Yes.
you should see some exciting announcements about our Thunderbirds 60th anniversary plans.
Ooh.
And just as a little teaserette,
Oh, yeah.
I can let you know that towards the end of this year, perhaps in a month, you might associate with Thunderbirds and Space 1999, perhaps.
Oh, yeah, right.
There is going to be a thing at a place where you can
place?
go.
Ooh.
Is there?
Yeah.
Is it
Oh, I mean,
sort of up north a bit?
No.
Isn't it?
Is it down south a bit?
It's
Is it east a bit? Is it west?
it's within 40 minutes of where we are right now, I would
40
say.
minutes? 40-minute walk or a 40-minute drive?
Oh,
Oh.
a drive or a train.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
So there you go.
That's my journey back to St Pancras.
Right, that'll be it then.
Yeah, well, that would you'd be close, I
Okay,
think,
right.
maybe then. Gosh, I'm giving away far too much
Yeah.
here.
We don't know what he's talking
No,
about.
No, you
We've
don't.
We've got no
clue.
idea.
Nobody here knows
And
what
I
I'm
wanted
talking
to
about.
stay like that. I'm not even going to
Yes.
ask him when we switch everything off.
No, I'll tell you anyway.
Oh.
But yeah, there's that, and there's things, and there's stuff. And when the announcement goes live
Yeah.
at GerryAnderson.com, you can go to a little special Thunderbird 60th anniversary landing page, which will be there.
Yeah.
And then you can sign up, and then every time a new thing happens,
Wow.
you'll be the first to know.
Great.
But it's not there yet, or probably
Sure.
won't be.
Right.
So, yes, there you go.
And we have ITV's 60th anniversary Thunderbirds logo, don't we?
We do, yes, which is now adorning things. In fact, you would have seen that already on the Thunderbirds calendar if you
calendar,
managed
yes,
to secure
yes.
one of those, which sold out last year very quickly
Yes.
indeed.
Yes, of course it did. Yeah.
So yes, exciting, and obviously the same will follow for Space 1999 in due course, and for New Captain Scarlet too. Anyway, yes, so there are other anniversaries which have happened and will continue to happen. We're still celebrating Stingray's 60th.
Yes.
Throughout the year, anniversaries are year-long things.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
Not in my house, they're not. It's like, right, celebrate now. Come on, back to work.
When they're
Okay,
significant.
well,
I see.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Anyway.
always celebrating all these shows. All
It's,
year
yeah,
round.
it's a constant celebration. Anyway, let's get out of this.
Yes.
That's the end, rather awkwardly, of this week's Gerry Anderson news.
That was the newsy news.
Why is he singing the theme to Dad's Army?
Army, yeah.
News.
Has he just gone off piece now and he's just picking any old random theme?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the first thing that came into my head. I mean, I've got others. You know.
No.
Talking about
Save
the
them.
first thing that comes into people's heads.
Yes.
When I was asked to supply a guest for this week's Gerry Anderson
You went
podcast,
you went to the larder and you took out your
and I chose the first person that came to my head, Sharon Mansfield,
Sharon
Good
Mansfield.
choice.
who some of
Lovely
you
Sharon Mansfield.
will be seeing interviewed as part of your mammoth interview
Yes,
to
very
celebrate
good value
30 years
on
of
that,
Space
yes.
Precinct on the Blu-ray.
Yep.
But I thought it might be a good idea to get around the table and give her a good old chat.
Oh, lovely.
Shall we see how I did?
Don't forget to ask her about my rollerblades.
I might have forgotten. Sharon. Look, it's only Sharon Mansfield.
Hi.
How have the last 30 years been for you?
Well, they've flown by, to be honest.
Weird,
I've got to be
isn't it?
honest. Yeah, I don't feel like it was 30 years ago, actually. It feels like it was yesterday.
What was your role on Space Precinct?
So, I was the assistant production coordinator.
Yes.
And I also did a little bit on the second unit as the script supervisor. And I did 2 episodes as a script supervisor because the main script supervisor wanted to go on holiday.
That will be Cheryl Lee, won't it?
Cheryl Lee, yes.
Gosh.
And she approved it. I mean,
Yeah.
weirdly, I was a script supervisor. That
Right.
was what I had trained to do. I was 25 and I was already having a midlife crisis at 25.
Right.
So it was like, do I want to be a script supervisor? What am I doing in my life? You know, all those things you have normally when you're in your 50s, which I am now. And I just thought, well, I'll give it a go. And somebody who I had worked with before, her husband basically asked me, he was the production manager, Hugh Harlow,
Yeah.
on Space Precinct,
Yeah.
and he asked me if I'd be interested in taking part in the show.
Right.
And because I was a massive fan of Space 1999...
Which we'll come to, yes.
Which I know we'll come to.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God, this will be awesome. I mean, the pay wasn't fantastic.
Right.
But, it's not always about the pay sometimes when you're doing stuff like that.
Sure.
And I desperately thought, oh my God, I'd love to work with Gerry Anderson.
Working with Gerry Anderson?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Did you expect it to be like Space 1999 in any shape or form?
I knew it was going to be like more modern.
Oh yeah.
I knew it wasn't going to be retro.
Yes.
Which I felt Space 1999. It was modern at the time, but obviously when I watched it, which was probably in the 80s, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a good... I mean, I loved it. I liked the fact it was quite slow-paced.
Yes, which many people don't like, of course.
I loved it, though.
Yeah,
because
it's
I
a
thought
thoughtful series,
It's a thoughtful series, and also, it gave the characters more room, I think, and to develop, which that's what I like. I like character-driven shows.
Yeah.
I mean, Space Precinct was quite, bish-bosh, but still innovative of its time,
indeed.
as we know.
Yes.
Very expensive shows.
Repeatedly.
Right.
The old, that's right, exactly, yes. Yeah. You say you're in your 50s now. That can't be true, because that would mean that I was also in my 50s. That can't be true.
I was, 55, actually.
Yeah,
yes.
well,
Which is
likewise.
mad.
So when's your birthday?
It's the 5th of December.
Oh, right, okay. So just been and gone.
Been and gone,
yeah. Nice, all right.
Yeah,
oh.
and but I don't feel... I mean, I always think 55, God, that sounds so old. I don't actually feel any different. I stopped aging, obviously, in my head at the age of 18.
Oh, likewise.
So
yeah, exactly.
So, hey,
that's right.
It's just a number.
Now, before we go any further, we're going to play a game with you, Sharon, whether you like it or not.
Okay.
It's called Super Identification.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm going to play you very brief, really quick clips from each of the opening titles of every one of Gerry Anderson's series.
Okay.
1957, I think, to 2006.
Okay.
And let's see how many you recognise.
Boy?
Well, you're already one ahead. So, as you see them on the screen behind you, you can shout out the ones that you know. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's be off. All right, off you go.
Adventures of...
Yeah, come on.
Twizzy.
No.
Twizzle.
Yes.
Twizzler?
Yeah, Twizzle is right, but there's number 2 gone.
Thunderbirds. Oh. Supercar.
Yeah, hold that thought. Say it again.
Supercar.
Good. All right, number 5. These are very early days, of course, before our time.
One.
But you'll know this one.
Oh, Thunderbirds.
No.
Oh no, this is... That is Thunderbird. That's Thunderbird, sorry. It's so quick.
I know, I did tell you.
Captain Scarlet.
Yeah.
UFO. Oh, no, Joe 90,
Good,
sorry.
yeah.
That's right, as I get older, I think.
Yeah.
Secret Service.
Well done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a deep dive.
That is, Oh, that's UFO.
It is.
I also love that.
Yeah.
Oh, Persuaders.
Oh, close.
Oh, no, the...
Protectors.
Protectors,
yes,
sorry.
so close.
Space 1999, Terrorhawks. Oh, don't know that one.
No. Does this ring any bells?
Space Precinct.
Oh, yeah?
I can't say it quick.
Favoured right across the universe.
Oh, Lavender
No, I
Castle.
don't know that one.
And finally...
Oh, no. That is... Is that the new Thunderbirds?
New Captain Scarlet.
New Captain Scarlet, sorry. I'm rubbish.
No, what do you mean
Absolute
rubbish? That was not bad at all. When I tell you some
It was
of our
all
guests...
so fast you haven't got time to think
really
about
quick.
it.
I know, it's a bit unfair, isn't it?
Yeah, you could
But
make
it's a
it a
level
little
playing
bit.
field. Everyone goes through the same thing, Sharon. So,
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
No stress, no drama.
No. It's just keep you on your toes.
Yeah, you have.
So some guests, they, bottom of the table, sort of 1s, 2s, 3s. Others know them all and get 17, 18.
Wow.
I think you got 12.
Oh, wow, okay.
Because I'm going to allow you the Protectors, because you said Persuaders, but that's often one that's
I do
confused.
get mixed up.
Yes. So I'm going to give you a 12.
Because I actually do like both shows.
Right. And look, there she is. How's that?
That's perfect, yeah. I wish I did look like that.
Also, congratulations, because this goes on the front of our table here when I find some blue tack, and you are the first of our guests for the new year to go on this table.
Well, I'm honoured.
And as time goes by, there'll be a whole
they'll-
row of them. And that's pretty good. 12 is
I'm
pretty
really
good.
happy with that, actually,
Yeah,
considering
absolutely,
I
would
wasn't
be.
expecting it.
No, because a lot of them are such early days, of course, in the 50s and 60s.
Yes, I mean, and some of them I do know, but obviously,
Yes.
when you're doing it so far, it's the pressure. It's like if you do a quiz show,
Yeah.
when you're doing it at home, it's very
Yeah,
easy.
exactly, when you're at
And
home.
then the pressure is like.
So let's think about a young Sharon Mansfield. Then, what was she watching? What floated your boat as a youngster?
Well, I did, as I have mentioned.
Yes, repeatedly.
Repeatedly, yes. Space 1999 was a massive.
Really-
thing in my
really
time.
massive.
I mean, obviously, I was watching it on repeats because I think it came out in 75,
Something like that,
ish.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I was
Okay,
a
so
bit.
you weren't watching it then? A bit
No,
too
because
young
I was
then.
only 5,
Yeah.
and I would have been too young, and my parents definitely would not have wanted me to watch. At that age, I don't think it was probably a little bit too grown up. But I think I probably started watching it from about 11, just on the repeats.
What was it about Space 1999? Do you think that?
I like the characters,
Yeah,
really. I think
yeah.
that's what drew me to it. And obviously there's a bit of action in it, which I
Yeah.
like. I like Koenig.
Yeah.
And Barry Morse, who was in it,
Yeah.
the professor.
That's right.
He was really good.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was just, as I said, they fleshed out the characters really
Yeah,
well. And
yeah.
I quite liked the pace of it.
Yeah.
And even though I know, some people are not like, the second series is not a favourite of theirs,
Yeah.
I do actually like the second season.
Yes, I'm probably more forgiving of the second season than a lot of fans are.
Oh, right, yeah,
And in fact,
yeah.
we had Jack Clough here a couple of weeks ago, who played a security guard in the second series.
Yeah.
And we often ask our guests to pick a favourite Anderson character, and he would have chosen, had we done that with him, Fred Freiberger. As his
Really?
favourite Anderson. Yeah.
Oh, okay, now that would...
Who often gets a lot of
probably-
stick, but of course...
He does,
He gave
yeah.
Jack the job, so of course...
Oh, fair enough. So he's going to be
Yeah.
a favourite, and I get that. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Fred Freiberger did the third season of Star Trek.
Indeed.
So, and, it wasn't the best season.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he also did the last season of
Yeah.
Space 1999, which,
So
so
became
hence he's sort of got that reputation.
The
or had
serial
that
killer, they
reputation.
call
He
him,
was,
which is quite good, isn't it?
The serial killer.
In
Which
fact,
is a shame.
I'm going to show you a clip of Fred Freiberger, and just
Oh, are you?
here he is talking about Space 1999 and why he was brought on board
Okay.
to salvage the show.
Okay, cool.
Well, we hope that we're going to add to what we feel is a wonderful show. And one of the things that we would like to emphasize, which there's been a dearth of it in the first series, and we feel that it would be a big asset to add it to this series, is humor. We want to really get some fun into the show that everything in terms of the future isn't grim and serious and always facing death and destruction. So we do want to sort of broaden the characterizations of our people, have them come across situations which could elicit some humorous remarks and perhaps have some situations in which they could react in other than a grim manner.
I mean, Space 1999, it was never meant to be fun, surely.
Well, no, of course. They were in jeopardy,
Yeah, that's right.
and they were constantly looking for their forever home.
Yes, that's
and
right.
So that's what the show was about.
Yes.
So to add the humour. I mean, listen, I'm all for humour. I am. But,
Yeah, not in Space
not
1999.
well, not all the time, probably not the way that it was done sometimes.
But there were some good, the innovations, weren't there? I mean, bringing Maya on board
Yes.
was a good masterstroke,
Absolutely.
really. I
Yeah.
mean, some of the creatures she became weren't perhaps that successfully realised.
No, but, I suppose it was quite difficult in those
Yeah,
days.
indeed.
I think what they did with the special effects,
Yeah.
not visual effects at that time, but
Yeah.
the way that they did do it was really good,
Yeah.
for the time.
Yeah.
But no, she was a good character, and she would have fitted in season 1 very well, So
Oh,
she
yes.
was a good 100%.
That's right.
A good addition to the show. But
So there you are, watching Space 1999 as a young woman.
yeah.
At what point then in your life did you think that you might like to work the other side of the camera, as it were?
Well, I also, because another show that I also liked was Star Trek, so
Mm-hmm.
I was a massive fan of that. So there's a space theme here, isn't there?
Just a bit, yes, yes.
So maybe I wanted to go into space.
Would
maybe
you
that
want to go
was,
into space?
Oh, I would.
Would you?
Yeah, I would.
I'd be terrified.
No, I'd love to. I mean, even if it was the last thing I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I absolutely would.
Maybe we should have a whip round. Yeah.
I think it would be quite expensive.
It'd
Yeah,
be quite expensive.
You
You don't know how many
so I
viewers
could do a
we've got,
GoFundMe page, maybe.
yeah, that's right.
Maybe get
Would
a bit
you,
of
though?
money.
Would you really?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that the thought. So when I was 13, I suppose that was the time I started watching Star Trek. I thought, well, what can I do with my life? You know, I wanted to work with animals or work in the film industry or be a stunt woman. Those were my three kind of things.
Yeah.
Because, of course, you know, when you're at school, they always say it when you're about 15. So what do you want to do
That's
with
right.
the rest of your life? You're like, I have
The
not
rest of
a
your
clue
life,
what
yes.
you know. But I had formed, you know, something in my mind
Yeah.
at the age of 13. So.
Yeah.
And I remember writing away to Equity because
Yeah.
I needed to find out what I needed to do to become a stunt woman. And you needed 6 disciplines. I don't know what it's like now, but
Right.
you did back then, you know. But of course, you had to pay to do the disciplines, and my parents didn't have the money to put me through all of that. And I
Yeah.
didn't have any disciplines, you know.
Yeah.
But you had to do things like fencing and horse riding and gymnastics and, you know, things like stunt driving, you know, whatever. So I had to say, okay, I can't do that. That's just something that I can't realise as a dream, as a job, you know. So I thought, well, okay, animals or the film industry. And then when I was at school, they said, oh, well, animals you can't really do because you're rubbish at, you know, everything.
Wow, that's harsh.
Yeah, they were pretty on the
Gosh.
nose with that. But I wasn't an academic. Let's just
Yeah.
say that. I was not an academic.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I need to, I don't know what I'm going to do, you know. So I said, well, what about the film industry? You know, maybe I could do that. And they were like, bearing in mind that I was living on the Isle of Wight at the time.
Oh, yes.
And the only things on the Isle of Wight is just, you know, hotels.
Yes. And Black Gang Chine.
Yeah, Black Gang Chine.
Come on.
Exactly. Well, most of that's disappeared
Yes,
down the
eaten
cliff,
away,
to be honest.
that's right.
But yeah, they moved it across the side of the river.
Right.
Anyway, and then I thought, well, I need to find something. So they gave me loads of like clerical application forms and things. I was about 15 or 16 by then.
Yeah.
And within the pack was something from the youth training scheme.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
I remember the YTS, yes.
Yes, the YTS, which was a government-run scheme.
Yeah.
And in the pack, there was something from Southampton University, and they have had a teaching media department there. And I thought, well, that's a media thing. Maybe I could do that. Because again, I wasn't academic, so I was never going to go to college or university or anything like that. So I applied for that. There was only 2 places available.
Right.
And I got one of the places.
Right. Okay.
So that was how I started.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that was like my first foot in the... It was only video.
Yeah,
you know, we were
sure.
only shooting video. It was only like, come to the biology department, you know. That
Okay.
sort of
Right. Yeah. Fine. Hey, I do
very
it.
basic.
Yeah.
Yes,
Day's
exactly.
work. Yeah. I'll
A
be
day's
there.
work, yeah, absolutely. We did one film, which was the history of anaesthetics, which I loved. And then the woman that was doing the continuity, because it was called continuity, you were a continuity girl back then.
Right.
Before it changed to being a script supervisor.
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, you know, you have you're pretty good. You might want to train to do
Right.
continuity." And
Yes.
it's like, oh, okay, you know, because I was quite good at multitasking.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, and she said, why don't you... I did the youth training scheme for 2 years, and then they took me on for a year. And then she said, right, why don't you apply for this course? And it was called Job Fit, which was the Joint Board for Film Industry Training,
Wow.
which was a 2-year course, and
Right.
you got put on different productions.
Brilliant.
So things like Alien 3,
Yeah.
Inspector Morse,
Yeah.
Greek Myth Storyteller, which
Right.
was Jim Henson.
Yes,
That was my first
that's
introduction
right.
with the Jim
God.
Henson Company. Jim Henson unfortunately had passed by then, and I would love to have met him, but
Yeah.
unfortunately I didn't. But I met Brian
Yeah.
Henson, his son.
Yeah.
And so there was 24 places, I think, or 12, can't remember, it was such a
Yeah.
long time ago, but there was very few places. They had, I don't know, 1,000 applicants
sure
or
they
something,
did.
you know, tons of applicants.
Yes.
And I got a place.
God.
So
Amazing.
things aligned.
Yeah, that's right.
I think, you know, you make your luck, you know, you create your luck, you know, and I have been very lucky. And I've followed a path, you
Yeah.
know, and it was the path that I wanted to follow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yes.
And a career behind you. And
Yeah.
we'll talk later about another career ahead of you.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm trying.
Yeah, indeed. Do you get the sense that I'm not in any way suggesting that it was easy for you, but I feel, looking back on my sort of early years, that actually it was certainly the business was easier to make your way into than it is now. Do you get that sense? Or are there still
yes.
schemes like that available?
There are a few. I mean, the job fit scheme became FT2 and was I think was run by Skillset or got taken over by Skillset.
Yeah.
Skillset does still exist, and they do, I believe, still do some schemes.
Yeah.
You know, if people can't go through the academia route or whatever, then there are schemes out there. You know, I mean, the BFI used to run a good scheme, but I don't think they do that anymore, which is such a shame. You know,
you'd think that'd be absolutely their remit, really.
Yeah, I think so, and you know, I think I think things like that are needed. You know, for youngsters that can't go through, like myself, you know, I would never have got in. I mean, I didn't know anybody in the film industry, and I know that like nepotism, obviously back in the day, was quite rife, and you know, and I think if you want to do the job, why not? If you've got a contact, you know,
you'd use them, wouldn't
it's
you?
all about contacts, you know, and it's who you get to know. You know, I got to know some amazing people, you know, and they remembered me. And, you know, they would put me in for jobs and things, and that's how I kind of, I wouldn't go from one job to another. I mean, once I finished my job fit training, you then become freelance. So I became a freelance script supervisor. And, you know, it was just who you met along the way, you know, and that's how I got jobs. You know.
That's right. Absolutely.
I mean, I remember, so I finished my training in 1989.
Yeah.
And it took me about 10 years to get established. So I was temping. I had to temp for 10 years, off and on. So do a little job, and then I'd go temping, then do a film job or a TV job, temping. You know, it wasn't like an overnight thing. It's not like you go, it sounds amazing, you know, oh my God, you know, my CV's so good. But
there are gaps.
It takes,
yes.
There are gaps.
Likewise.
You know, but I just managed to get onto really good shows and films.
Yeah,
and
quite
stuff.
high, well, not quite, very high profile stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Here, in this wonderful Space 1999 lunchbox.
Is that my lunch?
No, it's questions from our viewers, I'm afraid. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Now, do you want to pick some questions out of here?
Yeah. Yes.
So have a reach over and take 3 or 4, and then we'll do some more later as well. Great. There you go. I mean, there are lots for you.
Yes, I'm surprised.
Yes.
You know, little old me.
Little old you. Yeah.
Would you like me to read them
Yeah.
out?
So read out a question and chuck it on the floor when you're done. We'll move on to the next one.
So this is from Alex Patrick. Hello, Sharon. Do script supervisors get to oversee the filming?
So let's talk a little bit about the role of a script supervisor.
Well, yes, that is correct. We do oversee the filming.
Right.
Basically, our function is to keep the continuity. So, and often people say, you know, am I on set when that happens?
Yeah.
And yes, I am. I'm physically on set.
You have to be.
I have to be, yeah. I mean, I'm like a conduit, really, I suppose, from the floor or the set or the stage or whatever you call it to editorial and the production office. So I have several functions, really.
Yeah.
I do have to create a diary, or they're called progress reports now.
Right.
But in the old days, they were called diaries.
Right.
And that's information that I would be giving to the production office to basically say what time we turn over.
Okay.
And what
on each
time,
shot, or
no. I mean, I
thing?
do note that on my continuity sheets.
Yeah.
But they only want to know what time we turn over and what time we wrap.
Yeah.
And what scenes have we shot? So I would put whether they were part complete or completed or you know, and if there's any shots left over, for instance, in my notes, I'd say on scene 21, you know, we still have a close up of the book or you know, an insert or something like that. And then obviously I usually make a list of saying what's left to shoot and stuff like that, because obviously some scenes are not completed. So if I was doing main unit, often they wouldn't complete a scene, but that's because a second unit would come in who operate roughly the same time. They'd normally come in a day or two after main unit and shoot the inserts, or you know, if it's an action sequence, they would, so like the main stuff, all the dialogue and that would be finished, and then they go into an action sequence, and then the second unit or the action unit or whatever would come in and shoot that.
So as not to hold up the production of the show.
Yeah, because it's obviously second unit usually have a bit more time.
Yeah.
And they can do the nuances of what's left to shoot, you know, and because if you know, to do an insert on something, can take a bit of time.
Absolutely.
And, main unit want to just do the actors and the dialogue.
Yes.
That's basically
Yes.
their function,
Yeah.
So also I would have to do the editorial notes.
Mm-hmm.
So every shot that gets done, so every slate that gets done, so, there's 3 shots here, that I would make notes on each shot that is done. So it's just typing up on a database.
Yeah.
And there are 2 different slating systems. English system, where you just go consecutively up in the numbers.
Right,
Or
which
there's
makes sense.
It does make sense. It doesn't get used very often now,
Aha.
weirdly.
Yeah.
Used to back in the day, but
Yeah.
when I first started working, it was all English slating. But it's mostly American slating now, which actually, to be fair, is better, I think.
And the difference being?
So the English system goes up numerically from 1 to 1,000, depending on how many shots you do. And the American system always works by the scene number.
Ah, got you.
So the slate, if you were doing scene 48, then it would be, the first slate would be 48, obviously.
Yeah.
And then the second slate would be 48A.
Yeah.
48B, 48C.
I see.
So it would go like that. And when, because I specialise in second unit script supervising, not main unit. I have done main unit, but I prefer doing second unit. We would use an X in front of the slate and do X, so it'd be X48,
Right.
X48,
Right.
and stuff. And it's much easier for me to find things because I'm always referencing. I'm like a detective.
Yes, absolutely
I
right.
liken my job to being a detective.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing research to find out what main unit have shot.
Yeah.
And I need to find the slate that goes with the insert, that
Yes.
we're just about to shoot.
So
it's
that you
like a
can
jigsaw.
match
Yeah, got to
the
match
lighting,
it.
the set.
Yeah, the
what have you.
lighting, the set, all the props.
Yes.
It depends what you're looking at, obviously,
Yeah,
and what
yeah,
we're shooting. But
yeah.
essentially, it has to match,
Yeah.
and it has to cut in. Editorial need to be able to have that shot, and they need to be able to slot it into the main unit
Yeah.
footage that's been cut. We do get edits,
Yeah.
which does help.
Yeah.
I think when I first started, it was rare to get an edit
Yes, right.
because of the system.
Absolutely.
It was shot on film,
Yeah.
and it took.
Had to be taken away.
It had to be taken away. Yeah,
that's right.
I mean, the editorial team would always be there.
Yeah.
They'd be at the set. They'd be at the stage or the studio. Sorry, but they couldn't edit quick enough because obviously the film was processed and it was all cut
Yeah.
by hand.
Yeah.
And,
That's it.
I remember when I worked on the Avengers, not the current modern Avengers, but the Ray Fiennes, Uma
Yeah.
Thurman
Oh,
version
yes,
of
right,
the Avengers,
right, okay.
which was shot in 1997, I think.
Yeah.
That was obviously all cut, and I had to take reels of film with me, so they'd cut out obviously the bit and put it in the film. So I only had and then they would splice it back together again, but there'd be a bit missing.
Yes.
But I could tell, like, which hand and what they were doing because obviously there was a bit missing. But I
That's
just
right,
had the
you
bit
could see
before
right.
or the bit afterwards.
Yeah, I see.
But I had to learn how to lace up a Steenbeck. Which was on the back of a truck.
Right.
So the truck used to come everywhere with us.
Yeah.
I had to go to editorial and basically take the rolls with me
Yeah.
with whatever we were doing. It was really bizarre,
Yeah.
But,
God, extraordinary.
they'd be like, I'm just going to the truck. I just need to go and lace up the Steenbeck and I'm just going to watch this footage and see if I can work out
Wow.
how they were holding something or, what
But
the
I guess,
costume was
we need no
whatever.
different. That was just the way things were done
Yeah,
because that's the technology at the time.
It's the only time I remember doing it. I'm sure I must have done
Yeah.
other things, but I
Yeah.
have a vivid memory of that. It's
funny, isn't it?
I mean, we had photos.
Yeah.
We had Polaroids.
Yeah.
The main script supervisor would take Polaroids. And obviously, she would give me all the Polaroids related to that scene.
Yeah.
And I'd have all her continuity notes
Yeah.
in folders.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all very paper.
Yeah, that's right, of
My
course.
bags were
Of
very
course it was.
heavy.
Yeah, that's right.
But you had to have a good system.
And also
in
your
place.
job to keep actors in line with their dialogue and say, you said could have instead of could have.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah, and you have to prompt actors, which is always
Always
quite
have to
fun.
prompt
Well, and also they do that thing where they've clearly dried,
Yeah.
and you prompt them. Yes, I know the line.
Yeah.
And you're
I
like-
feel seen.
which is
Yeah.
fine, and I get it.
Yeah.
And because obviously you're telling them, and
Yes.
it's like they feel.
Yes, I was doing a dramatic pause.
Yes, that's right.
You
That
weren't.
was
You'd
cool.
forgotten your
Yeah.
lines. Own it.
That's happened a lot.
Yeah. Next question.
But next question.
sorry, didn't mean to
I went
hurry
on.
on.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think have I answered that?
Yeah, I think that's a very comprehensive answer.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, John Stock.
Yes,
Hi, Sharon. What a CV.
it is.
Thank you. That's very kind. Would you have liked to have written a script for Space Precinct? Thanks. Well, John, I think at the time I wouldn't have, because I don't think I would have been ready or skilled enough to write them then when I was 25. But now, yes, I would.
Yeah,
Definitely.
be fun, wouldn't it?
I would, yeah, I'd love to do something like that.
Yeah, to be given free reign with those characters.
Yes,
It'd be quite exciting.
and if you know the characters, I think it's a lot
Yeah.
easier
Oh, yeah.
to write when you know them
For sure.
so well. But yes, good question.
I mean, I've written a few Space Precinct novels. You may or may not know,
I don't know that. No, I
and as
didn't
you
know
say,
that.
knowing the characters so well makes it an absolute delight.
Oh, wow.
To make them do what you want them to
Yes.
do. You know, it's quite sweet.
Yeah.
What would your story be about? Do you think?
Oh,
If you were in charge of one script for a
What would
new
I
Space
do?
Precinct series, what would you do? You'd give Orin a spin-off, of course.
yes, I think so, yeah. I
Yeah.
think we'd concentrate on Orin. Of course we would.
There you go. It's going to happen, isn't it? Next question.
I didn't chuck them on the floor.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's all right. Just to make sure you don't get muddled up, that's all.
Dom Riley.
Oh, yeah.
You have an amazing CV, Sharon.
You do. People keep saying that.
Thank
That's
you.
true.
Thank you, Tom. It's very kind of you. What were your memories of working with Gerry?
Aha.
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
So I was. So we were in L&M Block at Pinewood Studios. I'm sure a lot of you already know that. And I was in an office. I was 2 doors up from Gerry. But I didn't see him that often. He was quite reclusive in his office, you know. We'd see him every now and then. He'd go on set, obviously, and stuff. But there's one occasion I do remember when I did laugh a lot when I still do, but I did laugh a lot. And I had quite a very distinctive kind of Sid James type laugh, which I still have to this day. And one day I heard this voice shouting up the corridor, and it was Gerry.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he wasn't a shouter.
Yeah.
You know, he was very,
Yeah.
you know, quiet man,
Yeah.
you know. And I was like, and of course I knew it was Gerry, and I was like, oh my God, why is he, he was going, who is that? Who is that laughing? Like, oh God, I'm going to get fired. I'm going to get fired. And I don't know, it was quite a long way in. It wasn't the early days.
Yeah.
It was quite a long way, because it was 1 year and 3 weeks, I think, we
Right.
shot for.
Yeah.
My brain is telling me that.
Yeah,
I don't know
probably,
if that's true.
yeah. Could be right.
So I thought, okay, this is it. I'm going to be marched out, down the corridor,
For
out the
laughing.
door,
Yeah.
get in your car, you're
Right, that's it.
leaving the premises. But actually, he came into the office, and I turned around, because my back was to the door. I was facing the wall. And he opened the door and came in, and I went, oh, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry, that was me. I'm sorry, I'm being really loud. I'm laughing. And he went, no, it's fine. It's fine. I just wanted to know who it was.
Right.
It was me.
Wow.
I'm really sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was the biggest thing, and I just thought that was it. I'd had it.
But you didn't really sort of, because I always consider that I didn't work with Gerry Anderson. I worked for Gerry Anderson.
Yeah,
I
no,
never
I did too,
I
yeah.
didn't get to know him at all. I can't say I had any particular working relationship
really?
with him. Well, you know, because most of my experience was with the directors, and I know
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
on set occasionally, but not
Yeah.
very often. And of course, there's
But
this.
he was present in as much as he was always there.
Always there?
He was in the office.
Well, of
constant.
course, we now know that actually probably part of that was him struggling to keep the series afloat.
Well, yes.
You know, it was touch and
Yes,
go. We
yes.
now know.
Yeah, we
You
now
might have known
know.
at the time, but certainly
I didn't know at the
No,
time.
and we were
No.
shielded from it.
No, I had not. I had
Yeah,
no clue
that's
whatsoever.
right,
You
yeah.
know, and yeah, I guess it was constantly trying
So
to
stressful.
keep everything. Yeah, and it must have been.
Yeah.
He never looked. He was never one that looked stressed. Though.
No.
He was always very
Yeah.
calm.
Yeah.
Had a very calm exterior.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But another occasion, my brother will not thank me for this, but I went in. My brother had drawn a picture when he was a lot younger, and he said, "Oh, can I get Gerry to sign it?" So I went in to see Mary, and I just said, "Oh, Mary, is Gerry in? Is there any chance, you know, he would mind signing this picture for my brother?" And so I took it into the office and sat down, and he very graciously said, "Oh yes, And then within the conversation, he sort of said, "So how old is your brother?"
Right. Yes.
And he was 3 years older than me. And I said, "He's 28." But he had drawn it when he was probably when he was a teenager.
I see. Yeah, nice.
Which I said he was a teenager. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Any more questions? Is that the last one for now, or is there another couple or another one, or?
I think I've answered this actually, but
Yes.
Emily Davis, hi Sharon, what is your favourite TV show?
Well, yes. So
I think I have answered
yes.
that.
We're back to Space 1999 and Star Trek.
And Star
territory.
Trek project.
Is that the original series or Next Generation or?
Oh, the original series.
Yeah.
Well, I like Next Gen a lot, but it took me a long time to watch Next Gen because I was such an original series fan. It was stupid, really, isn't it? It's like they're all good in their own way. You know? I have watched most of them.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah. All for now,
I think
Sharon.
that was all.
But
That's all. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry. But will you come back next week? Because I know you've brought some little bits and pieces from our time at Pinewood together.
I'd love to come back. Yeah.
Brilliant. So we'll see you next week.
Okay.
Thanks,
see you
Sharon.
next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
How lovely to see Sharon Mansfield.
Yes.
Bless her.
Lovely for me. I last saw her 30 years ago.
Yeah. Now.
Well, no, actually, I did bump into her in a supermarket somewhere.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which
Still
supermarket
counts.
was it?
I don't know, but I had my kids with me, so it was sort of maybe
quite a long time ago.
24
No,
years
when was
ago.
it? What supermarket? Was
I
it
don't know. I
Sainsbury's?
said I don't know what supermarket it was.
You were probably at Waitrose then, I reckon.
Almost certainly.
Yeah. Good.
But you'll see part 2 of my interview with Sharon next week,
Yes.
of course. Of course you will.
With more rollerblading, hopefully.
Well, I might mention
Yeah,
that.
she's a big sci-fi fan. We talked about a lot of things that she likes
Yeah.
and has also worked on.
Yes. Talking
Stories
about
of the Muppets.
yes, talking of a lot of things that people like.
Talking of the Muppets, yes.
A lot of people like to email us at podcast@gerryanderson.com. We call them Podsterons. We give them their voice. Shall we listen to the voice of the Podsterons?
Yeah, good idea.
This is the voice of the Podsterons.
A short and 2 longs. Jamie, short.
I'm feeling short today.
Go on then.
My short
Yes.
is from Joshua Large.
Hello, Joshua
hello.
Large.
Hi, Richard, Jamie, and Chris. This is my first time emailing.
I thought so.
Yes.
My favourite Gerry Anderson shows are Thunderbirds and Stingray.
Thunderbirds and Stingray.
Good choices.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it.
That's
Fine.
it.
Lovely. Thank you, Josh. Now, the thing is, can we pinpoint how old Joshua Large might be from his 2 favourite shows? Are we talking 60s? Are we talking recent?
I would say more recent. It feels
Yeah.
like a 90s person. So they...
I don't know.
So I'm going to
I'd
hazard a
say-
guess. I'm going to say that Joshua Large is 19.
Oh, no. I think
He's come across these things much later than you think.
I would say definitely later, yes. Podsterons, if you know how old Joshua Large is, do...
Or if you just want to guess.
Or if you are indeed Joshua Large and would like to tell us how old you
Yes.
are.
You don't have to. There's no pressure.
I'm betting
We're curious.
29.
29.
I'm going to say 22.
This could be a whole new item in the podcast, guessing
Yeah.
people's ages. I like this
Guess
a lot.
the age of the Podsteron.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
like
guess
it.
the
Good
weight of the
item,
cake.
Yeah. Hello, Richard, Jamie, and Chris.
Hello.
Simpsons Clips 24 here.
Hello.
In January, which may have been long gone by the time this email gets read out.
No, not quite. Still January, thank you.
I went to an exhibition up in Manchester called The Lost Worlds of Ray Harryhausen. It featured drawings from Ray's iconic films like Jason and the Argonauts and The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, as well as some stuff from his unseen projects. One unseen project in particular was called The Story of Odysseus, which was proposed co-production with Cosgrove Hall Films that was planned as either a 75-minute feature film or a 26-part television series, done as a combination of stop motion and CGI, just like a certain Anderson show that Cosgrove Hall did. What could he mean?
Tough to know.
I later looked at that project's page on the BFI website and saw that a certain Mr. Gerry Anderson was listed as having worked on it, which leads me to my question. Is there any truth to this, or could this have been the work of an overzealous fanboy of the BFI's IT department, SIG, Simpsons Clips 24?
I don't
you on me.
believe there was any
No.
stuff there, unless it was around the time of Lavender Castle and somebody said, oh, would you consult on it or something like that. It's
Interesting.
not something that I was familiar with at all.
Yeah, isn't that fascinating though? The way that it's sort of, Jerry's kind
but
of
I mean-
woven into other projects.
You can type anything in the internet.
Yeah.
People believe you. So,
Yeah, that's true. Some people say I'm an actor. Can you believe that? I know. Never believe anything you read.
And one more email. This one is from Hannah. again.
Oh, hello, Hannah.
Hello, Hannah.
That's
Ah.
her second in 3 weeks.
Yeah, she's put a prolific emailer,
Yes.
which is always nice.
Good, good. She says, hello.
Hello.
I
Hello.
hope you had a good new year.
Yeah,
I'm sleepy.
Yeah.
I'm sleepy, yeah,
That's
yeah,
all right.
that's fine. I think I must have been very good last year.
Oh,
I
you
got
were.
my 2 Stingray books.
Oh, there you are.
What ones would they have been?
Wow.
We published 3 so far.
Yes, but
so
don't. I know what's coming. He's going to pick it up again, isn't he?
I don't, it's
Let's,
just, no,
come
he's-
on, move on, Chris.
And I got an Anderson gift card from my dad, which was lovely.
Oh, nice.
The comic looks stunning, but good grief, it weighs a ton.
Yes.
What else
Does
did
it?
you put in it? Stingray. Well, you
There it is. Oh,
feel.
Can you
feel
pick
the
it up? Do you
weight.
need 2 people?
Yes.
crikey.
Can you do it with one hand?
it does weigh a ton.
It does. Yeah. Well, it's 340
pages.
pages.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
It's a lovely book.
It is beautiful.
Look at all the stuff in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just love those things. Yeah.
It smells good as well.
It
Actually. I
does
just got a waft of it.
lovely,
That's
yes,
nice.
Yes.
No, that was the anthology.
Oh, I see.
You smell lovely too, but different.
Looking forward to volume 2.
Oh, right,
Yes,
yes.
that's coming soon. Isn't
Okay.
it? Yes.
Yes, it's being delivered at the end. In fact, now you should be able to get it now. I think the
now.
physical version.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah.
And the technical manual.
Which is March, I think.
Okay, yeah. I finally got my Standby for Action 2 Blu-ray. It is such a delight to look back on and remember it all. It was a wonderful evening.
Lovely.
It's certainly been very cold recently.
It has.
Yep.
That's
It's cold
true.
right now.
That's true. It is cold.
I think
yes.
I'll put an Anderson episode on that's based in the desert to warm me up. Or maybe one near
good
the
thinking.
sun. What would be your episode choice? Keep up the great work. You're all doing a wonderful job. From Hannah. Thank you, Hannah.
Sunprobe's going to warm me up nicely,
Sunprobe,
isn't it?
definitely.
I think the fire within, surely.
Or fire within, yes,
Oh,
nice.
yes.
Pit Apparel's quite sweaty.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it is. It's true. Yes. Yeah.
Any of these.
Couple of few there.
Deep heat.
Yeah.
No thanks.
No.
Yeah, great. Keep your emails coming in, podcast@gerryanderson.com. We love to hear from you about anything really, but mostly Gerry Anderson.
We're not fussy.
No,
Any
we're
old
not.
nonsense will do.
Yeah, absolutely right. Talking of any old nonsense,
Oh,
Yes.
no.
a little earlier on, I asked Sharon Mansfield to press the big red button to choose a random
yes.
episode from a random Gerry Anderson series for us
what
to
did she
watch.
say?
Well, she said, yes, all right, I'll do that for you.
She said, all right then.
Yeah. Shall we see what she chose?
Yeah. Why not?
Sharon, over to you.
Are you ready, guys? 3, 2, 1.
Thanks, Sharon. So let's see what. Oh,
Straight away, we're in with,
there you go.
with some Supercar.
Bit of Supercar.
Yeah.
At least it's not torture.
No,
At least
no.
it's not
There's a
torture.
very early episode of Supercar as well.
Okay.
This is Grounded.
Nice.
I think it's the 7th or 8th. Yeah,
Sounds like a pretty depressing premise for an episode of Supercar.
Well, let's find out.
Okay.
Specs on.
Let's have a look.
There it is.
Yeah.
The titular craft.
But no titular song.
No.
Because
Oh,
when
yeah.
it came out on the Blu-rays, the network presented the first 7 or 8 episodes
Without the song.
And they say that was how it was broadcast.
Really?
Yeah. There's a paragraph in the inside of the cover saying that's how they were broadcast. People who worked on the show have said that's news to me.
Yeah.
So I know
Well,
it's
well.
one of those odd things network would do occasionally where they had an alternative and it doesn't work at all.
It doesn't
No.
work at all, does it? We do miss it, don't we?
I'm not feeling in the mood now.
No.
Supercar.
Yeah, that's what we want. But look, I like the bit of the stock footage is great.
Yeah. Supercar.
Dum 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 dum.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. God, that just
If it
shows
did
that.
go out like that, that was a very foolish decision on
Yeah.
the part of whoever did that. But
Yeah, I don't think it was a good idea either.
Anywho,
Grounded.
Grounded.
Okay.
We are grounded.
Yeah.
Oh no. So it's the typical villain music.
Something sinister's going
Something
on.
very sinister. Some nice noiry shadows. Dear.
Mm-hmm.
We're really establishing this place.
Yes.
Oh.
Someone's wiring something up.
This feels very much like
Crossroads to Crime.
no, the pirate app, isn't there? They blow.
Pirate Plunder, yeah,
Yeah,
that
they-
opens with a safe being. I thought you might say Vault of Death, because here we have a safe cracker character voiced by David Graham. And some people have said that this is a prototype Parker.
Oh.
Oh.
Love it, Gav. This is Harper and Judd.
Perfect for the Big Finish spin-off series.
Yes. Yes. Well, they were in 3 episodes. The sort of secondary villains of Supercar. This is their first appearance.
The printed circuits for a new secret control unit we've been building here for an American professor's invention called Supercar.
Oh, the blueprints to Supercar.
Yeah.
Well, how do these things help? I've worked here a long time and never got anywhere. No initiative, they said.
This is a nice origin for a villain, just a disgruntled employee.
Yeah,
who
that's great.
Doesn't feel he gets treated well enough.
Right, John. And I shan't need to. I know where I can get a good price for these. Oh. See if they complain about my lack of initiative then.
Oh, ouch. Yeah. Sassy.
They'll be after us like a pack of hounds. Oh, no, they won't.
Pack of owls?
Ounds.
Oh, sorry, ounds.
And when they try to take off, they'll get...
I think I'll find it's a parliament of owls.
Oh, sorry, my mistake.
Well, Dr. Beaker, lovely day for a trial run. What you might call typical British weather.
Cheeky.
Cloudy, cold and windy, and looks like rain any time now, right?
He's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
If you could see outside the windows here in Slough.
Invigorating.
Yeah, they brought Supercar to England, so they can do some jokes about the English.
Well, but, my dear Mike, what are you all buttoned up for?
Because it's as cold as the North Pole, that's why.
Too used to central heating. That's what you are.
Yeah. You're soft.
You soft Americans.
I feel cold now,
Yeah.
My t-shirt.
Supercar finds the English climate.
Oh, Supercar will be okay. Nothing bothers her much. It's a good thing we
Famous
didn't
last
bring
words.
Mitch.
Yeah.
He hates the cold.
Yes, I don't think he'd have appreciated England.
No Mitch the monkey.
No. He's been left at home at the laboratory to supervise himself. It'll be fine.
He didn't stow away and he's not going to make a surprise appearance.
No. He didn't come with. No. He'd be stuck in quarantine for 6 months, wouldn't he? Of course he would. Couldn't have that. It wouldn't be a very good adventure for him.
A little too well known around Nevada. I thought we could have done the work more quietly over here.
Guess you wanted to see the old home country again, eh? Now, come on, Doc. That's the real reason, isn't it?
Well, yes.
It's not only that it's a monobrow, it's a monobrow that connects to the sideburns as well.
That's the outside phone bell. Could be the professor wanting us in the office.
Outside phone?
Thank you for explaining, Michael.
Why would you have an outside phone?
Well, in case you needed to answer it.
Come to the office at once.
Looks like something's up, Dr. Beaker.
But I hung up before he could explain what it was.
Is this when you arrived this morning, Mr. Prothero?
Absolutely, my dear sir.
Very subtle stereotype in English character.
Yes.
Yeah.
20 minutes before you did.
And I'll print it.
Mr. Prothero.
Prothero, yeah.
Very Peter Bowles look about him.
Yeah.
The great David Graham voice.
The preliminary test this morning, but there we are.
But it's great he's doing that, he's doing Beaker, he's doing Judd, and they're all completely different from each other.
What a master.
Yeah.
Of an intimate nature, of course, but in fact, your circuits were the only things of value.
Then it must have been somebody who knew about the circuits.
Yes.
Yeah, Professor, you're right.
Yep.
It must have been.
Thank you for that invaluable contribution there, Jimmy.
Thank you for the validation.
Dr. Beaker and Mr. Mercury to see you, Mr. Prothero.
Oh, is that the inside phone?
Could be, yeah.
The intercom.
Apologetic about the whole thing, Professor.
The hell thing.
All get together.
That's lovely.
Some sort of ad hoc committee. We can best see what.
We can discuss it in silly accents.
That's such a good voice.
All right, which it seldom is. You know what's happening now, Judd?
Yeah.
What?
I also like the difference in class structure between these two. I think it makes the partnership work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, proto Penelope and Parker to some degree.
Yeah. It's a shame they didn't do more with these. Because Master Spy and Zarin became obviously the main villains of the show, but these two just got forgotten about eventually.
What do you mean? The longer they talk, the better for us. Look out for a phone box, will you, Judd? And stop me when you see one.
What do you want to make a phone call for, Gov?
Because I've got a good deal of respect for the Professor and his supercar, from what I've seen of them in action, and I want to make quite certain they're grounded.
Oh, right.
Wow.
Circuit boards, Dr. Beaker?
I fear not, Jimmy. They were, you might almost say, the brain of the device. No, I'm afraid we shall just have to wait until some more can be made. Yeah, fortunately, I still have the
Blueprints?
Design.
What about Mr. Prothero? You think Mike and the professor can persuade him not to call the police?
I imagine they can. If they...
He seems a bit of a pushover.
I must say, I find it quite beyond me why you won't agree to my calling in the police. Inspector Lofthouse was a particular friend of mine at the college. And simply first-class type.
Well, that may be so, Mr. Prothero, but there's more at stake than you might think.
Again, this is early Penelope and Parker stuff in the sense that we're pitching it to the Americans who find this kind of thing funny.
There will be less chance of publicity. Unless it's absolutely necessary, we don't want the police called.
Oh, quite. Quite. I see your point. One wonders there how you would want to proceed without them.
Now, look, can you think of anyone in the firm who might know the value of those circuits?
Well, I only have one employee, so it could be anybody.
Suggesting, surely, that a member of JFP Electronics is responsible. Rather bad form.
Yeah, this is not cricket, you know. Ah.
Phone, Dr. Beaker.
Oh, the inside phone.
Inside phone.
Good morning.
Oh.
No, as a matter of fact, this is Dr. Beaker speaking.
Oh, good morning, Dr. Beaker. My name's Harper.
Aye.
We've met several times already.
Yes, Mr. Harper. You're on the JFP design team, if I recall the matter correctly. Yes. In which case, you'll be most grieved to hear of the robbery.
Your circuits stolen? You don't say. From the safe? Now that shows initiative. You can tell Mr. Prothero not to exercise his massive brain any further. I stole them.
Oh, there.
So he's just having a gloat.
Yeah.
I must have misunderstood you, I'm afraid. Who stole them?
I did.
What? You?
1 hour from now I shall be leaving the country with your circuits, and I don't think you can stop me. I imagine you'll think twice before calling the police with the resulting publicity. Yes, I thought so.
So what do you want, money?
By plane, Dr. Beaker. From a small plane.
Hang on, he's giving away far too much information for his own good.
Yes, yes.
Curious. Most curious. He's rung off. Now, why would he want to ring up and tell me all that?
Never mind why, Dr. Beaker. Come on, let's
To further the plot, I imagine.
Yes. Unless it was a bluff.
The sooner we get Supercar in the air, the sooner we can get after Harper.
It's funny it should have been someone who worked here.
Not really, when you come to think of it.
It's only us or one of the guys here. There's nowhere else.
Yeah.
But to know that those printed circuits were the vital part of it.
Well, then it's funny he should have phoned us to tell us he'd stolen them.
There's an awful lot of people who just can't resist having a dig at other folks. And many a crook gets caught that way. Guess Harper thinks we can't get at him.
Do you think we can, then?
Well, sure I do. Old Prothero will cooperate with Dr. Beaker and the professor and let us...
If he knows what's good for him.
What do you mean, Mike?
Well, I don't need any remote control to fly Supercar by myself. But I do need to be able to talk to the professor.
Right.
You see what I mean? They're fixing it up.
I love Graydon Gould's performance. He's so casual 1 minute and serious the next.
What about the other end of it? Won't we
Did he
need
voice other characters in the series as well?
Graydon, he did the occasional guest voice,
Yeah.
but mostly it just sounded like Mike Mercury doing a deep voice, yeah.
Same radio frequencies as Supercar's own radio set. So there should be no difficulty there.
It's most helpful of you, Mr.
I'm not sure the sort of French-sounding music quite fits
Yeah,
this.
no, strange.
All the assistance we can render you. I always had the feeling that Harper was not the JFP type. In their team spirit.
That is only too true, I'm afraid, but I would like to know why he telephoned.
It's a well-known psychological fact of some sort of criminal makeup. The urge to demonstrate...
Is it?
Well...
I say... the urge to gloat.
Is it, though?
Well,
And
that's
then
probably...
like you said, many a criminal's been caught that way.
Yeah,
Have they?
I don't know.
In Supercar.
Yes.
In the world of Supercar.
305 kiloseconds.
CSI Supercar, yes.
Mike, try 305.
Roger, 305 it is. Jimmy? Hey, Jimmy, where are you?
Oh, Jim.
Would you stand behind the rocket outlets for me, Jimmy? I just need to test them.
I want to get airborne as soon as possible.
Sure, Mike. Good luck.
What did you want to go and phone them for, Gov? They'll only get onto us that quicker.
They may try, but I doubt if they'll succeed. You saw me fix that supercar of theirs. What do you think will happen when they try to take off in it, eh?
Search me. I'm a safe cracker, not a mechanic. Yeah.
When a man's annoyed, Judd, or in a hurry, he makes mistakes. Right now, they'll be both annoyed and in a hurry. And they'll make the mistake of their lives.
Oh, wow, right.
Bit dark.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're actually taking it all quite casually, and they're taking their time about it.
Mike, but we must be extra careful now. Remember, we've not got the usual console to monitor your takeoff.
And we don't have the monkey, Mitch. He's at home.
I'll have to do a cockpit check, since you haven't got duplicate instruments. You ready?
Ready.
Here goes, then.
It's a bit of a design flaw, isn't it? That he has to have duplicate instruments that need to be operated at the same time as the ones on board.
Well, you know.
For a takeoff.
Better safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
Check. Check.
Lubricant pump, check.
Check.
Cooling system.
I was expecting Jimmy to say check before sort of relaying it.
Check. Now starboard.
Roger. Starboard engine conditions.
Ready.
Electrics, check.
Why do we have to do all this checking, Dr. Beaker? We don't back home.
You see, Jimmy, at the laboratory, we can read all these instruments and perform all these checks ourselves by remote control. The console permits us to do that. But here we have not the same facilities.
I'm not convinced.
Paddy.
Yeah.
Check before he takes off.
Before, what was I saying?
I forgot how that sentence began.
Quite so. Quite so. Nevertheless, we would be most unwise to omit any necessary precautions. All right, Mike.
So let's double check to make sure.
7, 9.
But again, kids in the 60s lap this kind of thing up.
7 RPM, was that an RPM?
Thousands. In thousands.
Fair enough. Oh, yeah.
No interlock to use this time, so I'll charge starboard. 7.
Oh, it's a nice sound.
12.
That'll be John and Jean Taylor sound effects. Probably one of their tapes spinning up or something.
You can go ahead and fire then.
Fire 1. Fire 2.
But Gov.
I really need to stop for a pee.
They will, when they try to take off.
Ready?
Yes, we know. Come on, then.
Your laboratory roof to clear this time, so you can extend the wings before VTO.
Ready for horizontal flight, then. Wings extended.
That's a familiar sound effect.
Yep. Your face.
Get on with it.
Oh, it's a very long extension, wasn't it?
I mean, what's going to happen? It's either going to fly or not.
Well,
or explode.
Now we're about to find out.
Yeah.
But nothing terrible can happen, surely.
A bit juddery.
Oh, juddery.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, see. Oh, plop. Oh, what? They should have made it wood, should they?
Yeah.
In this condition, Supercar is wholly unstable.
It's a good thing a lot of things happen. It's a good thing I took off with the wings extended. If I tried to change to horizontal flight a couple of 100 feet up.
Boy, it hardly bears thinking of. Still, Supercar does not seem to be too badly damaged.
Oh, a couple of days' work, that's all.
Look quite bad.
Yeah, he's quite relaxed about it there.
He fixed that wing. You know that, don't you, Professor?
I suppose so. A most dangerous thing to do.
You can say that again. Even if he wasn't trying to get anybody hurt, and I'm not so sure he wasn't, I'd still like to get my hands on him.
I fear we are in no position to do that just now, Mike. We had better join the others and have what Mr. Pozzo would call some...
Pozzo?
...to do.
Let's have another conversation about it all.
Yes.
Oh, it's very talky.
It is quite talky, isn't it?
Do a hasty takeoff. so that we might possibly be a little careless, which we were, gentlemen. And,
Well, mostly it was Jimmy. Jimmy was very careless, weren't you, Jimmy?
one's mind is appalled at what might have happened.
Paul.
On the police.
Now, hold on a minute. We aren't licked yet. We can still be...
Licked? That's a very 60s term, isn't it?
You can't possibly be considering flying in that state, and one would be pushed to make it inside the 100-minute mark, even in my realms.
Well, maybe not in your
Realms.
Remember? So we take her by road.
Why didn't they do that to begin with?
Yes.
Well, flying's cooler.
Oh, right.
Unorthodox, I would have thought.
How far are we from that turnpike, the Birmingham motorway, Mr. Prothero?
Quite clear.
The Birmingham motorway.
And Monk's Norton isn't
I get the
far.
feeling this is meant to be sort of set in Slough or thereabouts.
Yeah.
The telephone is true.
And I'm willing to bet that Supercar is the fastest thing on wheels or off.
Yeah.
Lunatic. Absolutely lunatic. But rather fun.
Might just work.
Allow me to point out that even with our limited acquaintance with American cars, the star with their thing, there's nothing the matter with it.
David talking to himself.
Yeah.
It's always great.
Well, loyally disposed as I am towards the police officer, my,
So we're now into the minutiae of license plates and the legalities of American cars on British roads.
Can't you give us a ticket, believe you me? Can we borrow your radio, Mr. Prothero?
by all means.
Let's waste any more time. Professor, if you and Jimmy will help Dr. Beaker man the intercom, I'll light up the motors again, and I'll guarantee Mr. Harper has no idea of the surprise that'll be waiting for him.
Okay, let's get on with it then.
Yeah. Chop, chop, Mike.
Following us then.
I should be very much surprised. In fact, if you reach in the front pocket, you'll find a thermos flask of coffee. I think we can afford the time.
Well, anything you say, Gov. But if it was...
I'm obligated to follow you no matter what for some reason.
And then...
Look, Judd, you want to know what they're doing back there?
Yeah.
Talking, that's what they're doing.
Won't be going anywhere for a long, long time.
You say that?
Yay!
Yes.
So I don't know if this was specially shot for this episode, or I assume it is.
Hello, Professor. This is Mike calling.
Look like M4 with the banks, or M40 rather. Yeah, those bridges are M40.
I'm halfway along it. Supercars really travel. You know, this is what you miss traveling at 1,000 feet or so. There's no feeling of speed.
What is your estimated speed, Mike?
Can't say for sure. I can look at the airspeed indicator, but it'll be a bit turbulent, only a foot or so off the ground. The instruments just don't like it at all. Altimeter keeps telling me I'm going to crash if I don't put another 500 feet on the clock. And the airspeed's kicking like a mule. As far as I can tell, I'm doing nearly 150.
150? One boggles at the thought. And on the Queen's Highway, too. Well, you'll have to do better than that just the same.
Sure, I'm only on quarter boost at the moment. I'll take her up a bit.
I've caused so many accidents in passing cars.
Yeah.
Throttling back again. That's better. I guess it was too much to expect her to behave properly at low levels. Especially after the beating she's taking.
Look how empty the roads are. Extraordinary.
And even at that, the port engine's overheating.
Oh dear.
Mike, don't take any chances. We know nothing about supercars' control characteristics at such a low altitude.
We've never tried this car on a road before.
Yeah.
We're down to 100. Just trust to luck we beat Harper to Monk's Norton.
Everything depends on them stopping for a random cup of coffee.
Must be soon. But I'm not much of a one at Matt.
Brilliant.
Now you tell me.
In fact, I think we've been going the wrong way.
What are you here for?
There, Gov.
Where?
You just passed it.
You oaf.
Well, you can turn round and go back, can't you?
On the motorway, be your age. We're not even allowed to stop.
But Gov!
If we get pulled in by a police patrol, we've had it. All we can do is to go on till the next turning now.
Well, that's all right then.
It certainly is not all right. Probably cost us 10 miles. Fortunately, they're not after us, otherwise we'd be in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they're after us.
Yes. Little does he know.
Oh.
Taking over just under the 100 mark, Professor. There's a mighty sameness about this stretch of road.
Any idea where...
And the stretch of the program.
Sameness, yes.
Well, calculating the various minutes and the various speeds, I imagine that... have you a map, Jimmy?
They're on the table, Dr. Beaker.
Yes, satisfactory. Most satisfactory. Turn to the left is indicated in approximately 2 miles. 2 miles? Good heavens! One will overshoot unless careful.
You're there, Mike. Throttle right back and watch out on the left.
Roger, Professor. Throttling back now.
Oh, he's worried he's going to overshoot because he's doing 100
I'm surprised
miles
he hasn't
an hour.
made a joke about driving on the wrong side of the road, being American and all that.
Coming back to the turn now, Gov.
Oh.
Is that the same cigarette as
Yes,
had on
it's
the
class.
whole journey?
An everlasting cigarette.
Yeah.
What's the plate?
Our friends, Gov.
Our foreign friend.
Oh,
foreign.
Right.
Understand, Professor? No sight of him. There's a plane waiting, so we can't be too late. Well, what do you know? Look who's here.
No, it can't be.
Blimey. Gov, it's that supercar thing.
I know that, you fool, but how?
Sorry, gentlemen, you can't use this airstrip. I just canceled your membership.
Made no attempt to get away. Just
Right.
put his foot down and
They've
drive
been
off.
caught, that's it.
Yeah.
It's the law of 60s TV villains.
Yeah. It's a fair cop.
And with Supercar in one piece again, Mr. Prothero's mechanic certainly did a fast job on the rewiring.
Took a while to get him moving, but that's England for you.
Sorry.
Excuse
We're
me.
used to a faster pace over here.
Anyway, where's Dr. Beaker got to with those circuits?
He's working on them in the lab. Dr. Beaker?
Yes.
Are the circuits all right for your control system?
Oh, yes. Yes, satisfactory. Most satisfactory. But on reflection, I think
I wonder if they might explode.
use for them.
What do you mean, Doc?
That radio-controlled model boat I was talking about. I could sail it in my bath, controlling it from here in the lab.
Oh, no. Fade him out.
We don't want to see him in the bath.
No.
Wow.
Okay. There we are then.
Yeah. Another
Supercar.
episode of Supercar.
And no music on the closing titles either.
No.
Oh, there is. Okay.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it to be.
Yeah, we get the song.
That's better.
Pretty decent premise.
Yes. I'm sensing a bit of apathy coming from this
Oh,
side of the table.
strong
Just a
apathy.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super apathy.
It wasn't the greatest episode
No.
ever, was it? I don't
It is
think.
quite popular with a lot of
Is
Supercar
it?
fans. Yeah, I think more for the Harper and Judd.
Sure,
Yeah,
I
no,
like
they're a great duo.
Yeah, I
They're
like
a funny
the idea
duo.
of a supercar coming to England, although the reason was a little spurious.
Yes.
I felt, and the theft of the equipment was good, but then for the villain to blag where he was going and what he's going to do, would have been nice to have seen a bit of detective work to see.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, to find
It's
out
a bit
where he was
convenient
going
for them to have all that information thrown at them. Yes.
Yeah. Marks out of 5 then.
Well, I'm going to shock you because I obviously know the rest of Supercar.
Wow, he's going
and,
3.758, isn't he?
Close. I'm going to give it a 3.5.
3.5?
It is better than average for
Is
Supercar. It is one of the upper. I think you have to sort of, if you're going to watch it, you have to go in knowing that it is a lot of talking and a lot of talking about more talking and then talking some more before we actually do anything. And if you know the show, you're just used to it and it's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're not, then you're going to struggle a bit.
Yeah.
But I like it.
It's 2.5 for me.
It's 2.25 from me.
Is it?
Ooh.
Less than half.
Yeah.
One boggles at the score. Very, very low.
Podsterons, what did you think of Grounded from Supercar? What do you think of Supercar generally? Yeah. And also, I'd like to ask, were you around when it first aired? Do you remember watching Supercar?
You'd be very, very old.
No, you wouldn't be
Chris.
Chris. You'd be older.
You'd be wise.
You'd be 60 years ago. Yeah, 65 nearly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gosh. No, wasn't for me.
No, join us next week to see what Sharon picks for us on the randomizer.
Maybe that will be more up Jamie's alley.
Maybe it will. We'll also have more Gerry Anderson news. We'll have the second part of my interview with Sharon
Mansfield, yes.
and more from our podsterons. Email us podcast@gerryanderson.com. Also, I haven't said this for a while. Please leave us a rating and a rating.
Yes, we haven't had one for ages.
No.
Come on.
Wherever you're listening or watching to this podcast.
Thanks
and
very
we'll
much.
see you next week. I'll be a whole year older.
Oh, you will be.
Bye.
Wow. Bye.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get started.
Let's go.
Spectrum is green.
Oh, what are you doing for your birthday?
I don't know. I hadn't really given it any thought until you mentioned it just now.
Oh.
Maybe I'll go somewhere really nice.
Yes.
Monk's Norton Airfield, I think, is a lovely place to visit this time of year.
Yes, and I've heard that you're looking for some printed circuit boards. So I think I may be able to procure some.
Excellent.
For your foreign friends.
See how I do. Join us next week. That was an Anderson Entertainment production.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
I'll fade that out.
Happy birthday, dear Richard.
That's right.
Happy birthday to you.